Hi guys, welcome back to ESCUnited. Gabe here, and I am joined by Silvester from Lithuania. Silvester, thanks so much for joining us on what is a very sunny day in Malmo, actually.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's really great to see you again. It was great to speak to you at London Eurovision party before. Now, we talked a little bit about the staging of your song then, and we focused on colour that time. So if it's all right, I want to look at a couple of other aspects, some things we've noticed this time around. Firstly, your backing dancers. So in Lithuania, at the national final, they were wearing sort of high-necked tops around their face. This time, they're a lot more covered up. I was wondering if there was a creative motivation behind that decision to change.
Yeah, well, since the very beginning, I wanted the dancers to be sort of shadows, and I wanted them to be identical, and I didn't want to see their faces. I just wanted them to be like mysterious beings or shadows of me as well. But at the time, I guess we couldn't do that. But then now, since we got more time, I really wanted to do everything that I actually wanted to.
And with that in mind, I've got sort of two questions about that actually. Firstly, more broadly about what has changed since the national final. Obviously, you had quite a strong concept already. Is there anything else people can expect? Anything that people should look out for, which is different?
Yeah, well, we changed almost everything, but not in a major way that people would be like, oh my god, everything is changed and new and I don't like it. We kind of just polished the visuals, and since we now have the massive stage with floor LEDs as well, we added extra material, and you'll see some 3D kind of things that I'm really excited about. Camera angles from above, and yeah, we polished everything. We made it more futuristic, I'd say, and yeah, everything's just in the right place, and we could we had time to actually do all the things that we wanted for the national selection as well, but we just didn't have the time, the equipment, the technical rider was different, and so mainly these things are changed.
And I guess that's the good thing about the Eurovision stage, you know, those added capabilities and the process of adapting to that. I think, you know, speaking to artists this year and in previous years, you know, different people have different experiences. Some people find, it clicks straight away. You know, the camera angles seem right. You know, everything scales up in the way you hoped it did. Sometimes, you know, it's a little more challenging and there are elements that require tweaking. How have you found that so far? And has there been anything going through the rehearsals that you've had to go, okay, we need to change this slightly, move these things around and so on?
Well, during the rehearsal itself, I'm on the stage and I didn't go to see the result. I have a team that I'm very proud of, actually, and I trust them with all of my heart. And so they were adjusting the things during the rehearsal, but then we went to the viewing room, and the first time I saw everything, I got really emotional. Everything looked perfect, and obviously there's like camera angles and little tweaks that we had to do, but during the second rehearsal it was even better. I didn't think it was possible, but yeah, and obviously the visual person and the camera guy as well, I don't think they're perfectionists, and I don't think there would be a time at any time that they would be like, yes, this is fully ready, I'm happy. And I mean, the main thing is very, very ready and polished, but like little details, I guess we could do that for, I don't know, a whole year, tweak little things that are not very important, to be honest. At the end of the day, you're gonna see the whole performance and enjoy the actual thing, and you might miss a couple of details, and that's okay.
For sure. And I think you touched on something which is, you know, I think really significant that maybe fans don't see, is behind the scenes. You know, you and I'm sure many others, like, you see yourself on that stage. It's an emotional experience. It's something that is fulfilling a dream and so on. And it kind of, is it sometimes difficult to kind of balance the I'm at work, I have to be a professional, and the oh my god, there's this massive stage, there's all these people, to sort of, how do you make sure you both stay fully professional and stay focused, but also allow yourself to enjoy the experience?
I don't think getting emotional is not professional, and I believe that we as humans suppress our emotions quite a lot in this modern world, and I'm learning not to do that. And so I don't really mind getting emotional if I'm feeling like that. If I'm happy, then I'm happy, and I don't think it's unprofessional. I feel like we should embrace more emotions, and stepping up on the stage was very majestic, and it was very, very special. And then seeing everything, because when I'm on the stage it's pretty dark, and then there's some strobes flashing lights, like I don't see anything, and you can't imagine how it looks like on the camera as well, because all the cameras are very far away, although they zoom in very close, but I don't see anything. So watching it back afterwards was even more emotional and more special, because we see all the details that we put into this, and
Yeah, and I remember seeing actually a video of you, I think you were with your team. This would have been after your first performance in the semi-final. Now, I think Eurovision fans will remember that very clearly. There was an instant attachment, an instant hype for the song. I think that was matched both within Eurovision fan circles, but also in Lithuania. And, the song has been number one for weeks. I remember looking at the Spotify streams the day after the final, and it was like 7,000, 8,000, 10,000. In second place, Luktelk, 50,000. And for you, I imagine it's really special to see, it embraced so widely at home as well. How has that experience been adjusting to life at the top of the charts?
I get shivers even thinking about it every time to this day, and especially watching the last performance during the finals. After I won, we had this performance, and to this day I cannot watch it without crying. Like, I just can't physically do it. And I feel like we almost broke the record of the most streamed song. I think the number one is still Italian song that won a couple of years ago, Maneskin.
Oh yeah.
But second, I mean,
in pretty incredible company, right?
And it's very special, because I've always wanted to connect to Lithuanian audiences. That's why I went back to do my career there, and write songs in Lithuanian as well, and seeing this effect that it has on people and all the support. It's just, I don't know. I don't think I could be happier.
I did actually want to touch on the use of Lithuanian. Obviously, we talked before about how it's designed in a way that sort of people who don't speak Lithuanian can sort of tune into it and pick up lines quickly. Obviously, phonetically, Luktelk is quite, for an English speaker, I hear that and I sort of go look, tell, and it works. Given that Lithuania hasn't sent a song which is 100% in Lithuanian for quite some time, do you think, how do you feel about the state of Lithuanian language music more generally in the local music scene, and what do you think it's going to look like going forward for Lithuania in Eurovision? Do you think there'll be more confidence now to send songs in Lithuanian, given that this one has been received so well?
I think Monica Liu a couple of years ago, she did break the doors for me, and I feel like we don't have that many people anymore in Lithuania who would be like, oh my god, Lithuanian song is not gonna do well, no one cares. But then everyone was fascinated by Monica's performance, and a lot of people were like really happy about it. So I don't know, I feel like why have expectations just for a language if you don't know the final result, and like you never know how people are gonna resonate to it. And we see now that people are actually resonating in different countries and singing with their fun little accents. I love it so much. It's the cutest thing ever. And so people don't really care about the language, I guess. And if it resonates to you, it resonates to you. And yeah, that's the most important thing. And yeah, I feel like Lithuania, with each year, improves something and gets closer and closer to the top in the final result, and hopefully, yeah, we'll see Lithuania winning.
I mean, for you, was that something that partly was that part of your motivation going into the show, being, you know, seeing, okay, I see behind the scenes, as someone who's in the industry, you see what's going on behind the scenes, and you sort of go, well, yeah, I can see they're improving things. I can see that this show is getting more and more sort of technically advanced, and the music's improving every year. Is that a feeling that's shared throughout the Lithuanian music industry?
Yes, although this year, since the national broadcaster decided to change the format and the name of the selection, I feel like I was a bit anxious, and change is always difficult, in Lithuania especially. And yeah, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know the format, how it's gonna be received by the audiences and artists as well. Like, what's it gonna be like? And yeah, since I found out that the final is gonna be not in the studio anymore, but the arena, I was like, okay, they're doing something special, you know. And yeah, I just trusted, and it was crazy good.
And that was a really special moment. I mean, you talked about it before. Speaking to Lithuanian fans, they've mentioned the fact that Lithuanian crowds can often be a little bit, you know, calm. And seated.
Yeah.
I remember when you did your second performance in the super final, and the whole crowd was on its feet. I know you said that's an emotional thing. Could you see it as you were performing? Because I know it's quite difficult to see down into the crowd from the stage.
Yes, I did definitely see it. The cameras were not ready for it as well. They had to adjust, but didn't like have enough time, because we had automatic zoom-ins and all those things, but then people standing up and blocking the camera angles. But that made it more special, and I feel like the audience made that performance. It wasn't me; it was the audience. Like,
Well,
that
I think you had a big part in that too.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I had that like energy and the reaction to it. It was very, very special. I did see everyone, and I was trying to focus on the song, because the moment I let that go, I start tearing up, and then I can't sing.
Yeah.
So it was very difficult. I knew my family was there. Yeah, it was very difficult to not be so emotional.
Now, moving on, there's just one other thing we wanted to touch on. So you've been very active on Twitter through the season. So obviously, I'm sure that means you've seen lots of the things that, you know, lots of Eurovision fans who've really taken up your song and really fallen in love with it. But, you know, social media can be a very difficult place for artists, and in general, the experience of being judged in this way is quite unusual for musicians. Now, obviously, having participated in shows like the X Factor in the past, you will have had some experience of this before. But I wanted to ask mentally how you've sort of dealt with this experience, and if you have any sort of strategies you've employed to make it easier.
I love Twitter, X. That's my favorite platform. Even today, I was in this very weird situation. I was put in this situation, and I got really. I was just pissed, to be honest. And then I went back to my bed, and I opened Twitter and immediately got better. People are funny, and I resonate to them, and yeah, we're having fun on Twitter. And I feel like that's the only platform that I mean, there's hate definitely, but for some reason, maybe it's the algorithms or whatever, I don't see that much, and the things that I see are the cute little tweets. Yeah, so, but it's not the case with the rest of the platforms. There's definitely more hate and homophobia towards me, and especially from Lithuanians. On Facebook, for example, there's lots of comments with like homophobia, and yeah, I don't know. I feel like it doesn't affect me as much, so I don't have any strategies to deal with it. I just don't really. I open their page, their account, and then I see someone who's probably not the happiest in the world. And then I get, I feel sorry rather than angry. So it doesn't really affect me, to be honest.
That is an admirable mentality. I think, with everything, it's the thing with these kinds of competitions, everyone does have an opinion. Luckily, I think a lot of what is expressed is, really, really positive.
But then you have, like, if you have a strong vision and you believe in what you do, then even the comments that are like, I don't like the clothes, I don't like the styling, I don't like the whatever it is, like, you were happy with it because you made it. And you made choices, creative choices. So if you trust that, there's nothing in the world that anyone can say that's going to affect you.
Exactly. And there's no point wasting time trying to please people who are never going to be pleased, right?
Exactly.
There are some people who are just never going to get it, and that's okay. To finish on a positive note, you've talked about some of the incredible experiences you've had so far, about the feeling you get watching back your performance at the national final. I was wondering if there are one or other two things that you can look back on from your Eurovision experience so far and think that was a really special moment, or that was something that I'm really going to cherish. I'm sure there's many, so it may be difficult to pick one.
Yeah, there's definitely moments like that, and I choose to keep them private.
I understand. Well, listen, Silvester, it's been a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you so much for taking the time. We need to see Lithuania, at the very least, in the final, and we need to see Lithuania high on the scoreboard this year. For that to happen, you need to vote for him. So make sure to vote for Lithuania. You are number
3 in the first semi-final.
And I'm sure you'll get the opportunity to vote for Silvester on Saturday night as well. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.